Well, good afternoon. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for your coverage of our conference. Just excited about a new season, a new team, and a new opportunity. We've practiced 13 days so far, and we've got basically half of a new team with 4 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and junior college transfer. We're extremely young, but we're very talented. It's been a lot of fun coaching these kids. They want to please. They're playing extremely hard in practice every day, and they're doing a great job for us. I think the biggest thing with them is they're starting to understand the responsibility that comes with playing at Mississippi State, the history and the tradition that we've been able to really cultivate and develop over the last few years, and they're coming to understand how to wear that responsibility. And so you love seeing that, especially with young kids, and so I'm excited about them. I'm excited about our returners. I think they understand what they have to do to impress upon our new kids what it takes. We have a saying in our locker room: it's not what we do, but how we do it that separates us from the rest of the country. And I think our returners are living that every day and showing our young newcomers exactly what it takes to play at the level that we've played at the last few years. I think somebody told me the other day we're 70-5 in the last 2 years, 104-10 in the last 3, 132-16 in the last 4. So those young people and our new players are learning. So appreciate y'all being here. I'll open it up to questions.
Just wonder, last couple of years, you and South Carolina kind of dominated this conference, really like Asia, Tierra. Now they're both gone. Do you sense maybe the league's a little more wide open than maybe it's been past, just without those 2 bigs?
Sure. I mean, I think it could be for sure. I think when you look across our league, the parity that we have, the great coaching that we have, it could be a very wide open season. I think for us, the daunting task is our schedule. We just do not have a great friendly conference schedule, but that's just the way it is. But you're not going to replace. It's hard to replace in one player a Tierra McCown or in 2 players, Tierra and Andrea, what they brought to the table at 32 points and 22 rebounds. And so I think you do that with a committee. You do that with a group of people, and for A&M, they have everybody back. They got like 98% of their scoring back. I think South Carolina and us both are getting a lot of credit for our recruiting classes. But I think Don would probably tell you, and I'll tell you, our returners are ready to step up and have that opportunity to carry the torch forward. So I think we all have competitive teams, but then you go down the list of who's got a lot back: Kentucky, Arkansas, LSU. I mean, there's a lot. You could go down the list of everyone. And I've said this a million times, y'all. In our league, if you're not ready to play on any given night, you don't get beat. You'll get embarrassed. And that's just the nature of the Southeastern Conference. And so for us, we know our 4 freshmen are going to play. They're all going to play. They're all 4 of them. And so those kids are extremely competitive, and that's what I love about them. They're fun to coach, but they're here to play. And so I think they really have brought something to our team and to our practices that we need.
What does it mean to have Chloe back, and just what does she add that maybe you were missing down the stretch when she got hurt last year?
Chloe is someone that now, going into her 3rd year, I've really had an opportunity to watch grow. I mean, her growth from her freshman year to where she is now, her level of maturity. I think she has a real understanding of life. I mean, you're talking about a kid that's a long way from home. You're talking about somebody that's got wonderful parents. But she's someone that's from a maturity standpoint and done some things in life at her age that a lot of kids haven't even done yet. From when she was in high school, moving to the city to play and go to school and do things that maybe she couldn't get done where they lived in their rural part of Australia. So just been really pleased with that part of it. Now her game's changed as well. I mean, last year when she went down, I was so proud of my team to be able to overcome losing a player like her who had done so much for us and was such a big part of our team up till that point. It really spoke volumes about our team a year ago. And so to have her back, and you look, she's probably 75–80%. She's still going to get that much better, that much more comfortable, be that much more productive. And so, but I just think her level of engagement with our players, her personality and character with our players really has been something that, you just can't put a value on. So I know she's going to, continue to get better, heal, recover, get more confidence in that knee, and become the player that she was and then some. So that's the exciting piece. She's not there yet.
Coach, to your right on the second row.
Jordan Danbury, how big was it to get that extra year with her? She was, actually I read Logan's story, and she was retelling the story about you guys calling her up and kind of surprising her. What do you remember about all that? Just what are you expecting from her?
Well, I'm expecting a lot from her. She's going to have to play two positions for us, not only the two, but she's going to have to swing to the point some. But Jordan has been outstanding. She's, again, someone that's grown. I've been able to watch up close in person now, and her maturity level, she understands what it takes to win. She understands you have to pay a price for success, and what she's done in practice, setting a standard for our freshmen to see every day. You can't put a value on it, and that's a kid that goes hard every day, all day. I think she's going to have a tremendous season. I can tell y'all, I was disappointed in the media selections because if she's not one of the 10 best players in our conference, you got to be kidding me. I mean, she averaged 14 points a game a year ago in the SEC on a team that had Anriel and Tierra, and she still averaged 14 a game in the SEC. So I think she's going to be, she's a player that I know coaching, man, she is hard to deal with from not from coaching her, she's great, but from somebody else trying to guard her and defend her, she is really hard to deal with. And it's her competitiveness as much as her skill set. Hopefully this year what she'll take on is even that more attitude of our coach, give me the best player on the other team to defend.
And when you got the news, she got that year restored, what was your thought or reaction? Or
Yeah, no, I think we were both in tears, I thought I'd been in touch with her weekly, bi-weekly, just keeping her informed, and knew that we were kind of getting close to maybe a decision coming down. And when Bracky came in, who's the director of our compliance, told me, hey, we just got our decision, and she's been given a 5th year. I think there was a bunch of screaming going on in my office, and then we called her up. I said, hey, come on down, let's have a, let's see how we're doing. She had a full-time job, and she's working in town, full-time job. She's in the real world, and really hadn't played a lot of basketball since April when we got beat in the Elite Eight. And so called her in, and we were ringing those cowbells, I can tell you, in my office when we gave her the news. Then her team came in, and we gave them the news with her in the background. They didn't know she was in there, and she came out. So it was a special day for us. So it's been exciting to have her back, and again, she's really only been back playing for a couple months.
Coach, to your left on the second row, please.
Yep.
Yeah, you mentioned the freshman recruiting classes that both you and South Carolina are going to have to rely on.
Right.
Is there any way to kind of lessen the impact of freshman growing pains when you have to lean on them so much?
Well, I think for us, the good thing was going and playing in the World University Games in Naples, Italy this summer. Those kids got a taste of competitive basketball. That wasn't a foreign tour where you go over there and win by 60 every night and everybody feels good. It's, kumbaya. We had some knockdown dragouts with some of the best teams in the country against some really good players, some former pros, and so I think for us that was just an invaluable experience for those young kids. And you go over there, Kia Jackson gets 38 one night. She averaged 22 a night over there. Jessica Carter, who backed up T last year, goes over there and has some huge games for us, has has the big stick back in the end one to beat Japan after we were down 4 with, a minute to go and Japan had the ball. So all those kids, those freshmen, like I'm telling you, Jemiah and Jayla at 2-3, if we would have played another game over there after the gold medal game, those two would have been my starting wings. They were playing that good, and I was ready to go with them because they were out playing my other kids at the time. So, you throw in Aaliyah, who's trying to learn 2 positions, and that's so hard to do. It's hard to learn 1 position as a freshman. I was throwing 2 at her back then, so those kids are all really competitive, and they're going to play. And I think, for me, I have a lot of confidence in them. So I'm excited about those kids. I'm also, though, excited about our returners. They're ready to step into bigger roles. And that's what you want. You want kids that embrace the opportunity. Okay, I sat and watched. I know what everybody did in front of me. That's my time. I've got to continue to carry that torch, and so I'm excited about that.
To your left, coach, front row.
The only coaching change this last offseason in the SEC was Tennessee. The only change the year before was Ole Miss. I'm just wondering, the stability y'all had, how much is that? How important is it, particularly with all the transfers going around with this college basketball? What does it kind of say for the league that you only had the 2 coaching changes in the last year?
Yeah, so stability is hard in the Southeastern Conference. I don't care what sport you're in, it's very difficult. And I think it speaks volumes of the level of coaching as well as the level of players that we have in our conference. I know for me personally, that's been one of the reasons why we've been so successful at Mississippi State. Johnny Harris, my associate head coach, Deanna Jackson, now promoted to associate head coach, Elena Lovato, our assistant coach. Those 3 have been with me a long time, and they are tremendous in developing and teaching our young ladies. And so just really, that's a big part of our success. Well, trust me, the success of our league, what we have, 9 in postseason last year, 8 in the NCAA tournament, that's the reason why, because we have great coaching, I believe, and we continue to be able to hold on to those coaches. But again, you're not going to have it without the players, and I think that speaks to everyone's staffs and the ability to recruit in the Southeastern Conference, because you've got to have players. And so I think it all folds in and plays a big part into the success of our league. And certainly in this league, like I said, great coaches. We've got the best players in the country. If you're not ready to play every night, it's going to be a bad night for you.
Coach, to your right, front row.
Yes, sir.
Vic, you mentioned talking about Chloe and obviously coming back from the injury, but also as a junior now, she's stepping into a leadership role alongside Jordan. How have you seen her kind of embrace that, and how has she kind of taken to that role?
Yeah, so her, like I said, her growth and maturity is really is what I've noticed the most about her. She hadn't been able to play a lot since the injury, so I haven't noticed that until these last few weeks in practice. But just her growth and maturity as a young woman and understanding what being a leader is all about. Not leading for her, but leading for me, knowing what's important to me. I think that's the hardest thing when you're trying to cultivate leadership within a program, within a team. Kids want to lead for themselves. They think leadership's all rah-rah. They think leadership's raising your voice. Leadership is about leading for whoever's running the show. You know, whether it's Bill Belichick and in the leadership that he has, or the leadership for us in our locker room, in our program, you know what, at our university. That's so important. And I think everybody, you know, the success of programs, the success of universities are built around what your leadership's like. You know, certainly it starts at Mississippi State with Dr. Keenan. But then you go to our team, you know, myself, my staff, I think our players have a very clear picture of what we want every day to look like for them in their lives and for our program, and the importance of doing things the right way.
Coach, to your left, front row.
Good afternoon. Coach Flo said she can remember her days as an assistant when there were 3 people going to women's basketball games in Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Why do you think that the personal touch that you, your staff, and your players values than the time you did at Starkville. Why do you think that's been so successful?
I think there's a couple reasons that go into our, why we've been able to build the fan base that we build. But certainly I just think that Mississippi State, our fan base, the people of our great state, what I've found that's just so special, and it's not reserved just for Bulldogs, but it makes what's special about our state is that it is just a hard-working, blue-collar state. People work extremely hard. They have an investment in their families and in who they are, and there's a real identity and a pride in that. And so I think when we were building our team, people came to watch us play because we were a tough, physical, aggressive basketball team. That doesn't say anything about our jump shot. It doesn't say anything about our skill set. But they would bring their sons as well as their daughters to watch a group of young women play the game the right way, to play it as hard as they can possibly play it, to play in a way that you would be proud of. Whether it's your son or daughter competing in anything, that's the way you want them to play the game. And so I think, in this day and age of offense, and people want to talk about, oh, it's all about offense. And look, I serve on these committees, and it's all about offense, but I have to tell them, and they ask me, how have you built it? We didn't, I couldn't recruit players in the early years, as you know, that had a skill set that could go score 20 a night. We had to build it with kids that understood the importance of team and chemistry and playing together and defending, and we hung our hat on that. But that's why people came to see us play, because of how hard we played the game and just how tough our kids were in competition, but then after the game, seeing how kind and gentle they were, hugging babies, kissing mamas, or hugging mamas and kissing babies, and signing autographs and taking pictures 45 minutes to an hour after competition was over. But taking the time to do that. I mean, Tierra McCown, you think about it, 6'7", 2 whatever, 230, dragging somebody else's post player up and down the floor. Look, most nights 40 minutes. If I took her out, she was mad. She didn't want to come out. And so you got her dragging everybody's best players up and down the floor. The game's over. You know what? That kid probably deserves to go to the locker room and take a shower and go home. No. She was the one that was in the stands with a baby in each arm, taking a picture, signing every autograph of all 9,000 that were at the game. And that's how many we're averaging these days. But that's what makes it special at Mississippi State. And so I think, again, our kids are bought into that. It's part of life, y'all. It's teaching kids to appreciate what you have, teaching them to appreciate, you know what, these are our fans. They've come to see you play. They've spent money that's hard-earned for them. Let's make sure we give back to them. And this is easy, y'all. In our game, that's easy. People won't do it. Some people won't do it. Their egos won't let them do it. For us, it's who we are. It's what we're about. And again, our kids have learned to embrace it and really enjoy giving back and doing that. So I think that our style of play is what's really allowed us to build it at Mississippi State.
Final question.
Mike Neighbors, obviously you guys know each other well. A couple years ago Arkansas was picked 14th, now they're picked 5th. Look like they got an NCAA tournament team. Well, what do you think of the job Mike's done? Just what do you think of what are you expecting from Arkansas this year?
Well, Mike's been someone that's been very dear to me and my family for many, many years. And, it goes back to him talking to me till 1 or 2 in the morning, driving back from when my mother was her last 6 months on earth. I'd be driving back and forth from College Station to Houston every day, and a lot of times I'd leave the hospital at 11 o'clock, and I'd talk to him till 1 in the morning. He'd talk me home, and he was there at the funeral. Came in from Arkansas with Amber, so he's very special. What he's done building that program is very special too. He's got it going. He's got players. Again, he recruits to a fit, and I think we all as coaches, when we can figure that out, whatever your fit is, if you figure that out and it's successful, then I think that's where you find success. And I think for Mike, he's doing that. And I know he's excited about his team. I've heard him talk about them this year, a couple of clinics, and rightfully so. And he's got some really good players back. And again, I think their system, he's shown our conference it's hard to deal with. And so, you know, what he's going to be in now is that top half. You know, where to get into that top half now. He's probably telling his kids, hey, we got to go live it now. Somebody's thought enough of us to pick us up here. Now we've got to go live it. And I know he's embracing it. His staff's embracing it. And I know his players will too. He's got some really good players. So I was fortunate enough to be able to be around one this summer at USA Trials. And so he's got him a heck of a team. So I'm happy for him. I'm not happy I have to play him.
Thank you, Coach. Great job.
All right, praise the Lord and go Dogs.